The importance of mental health awareness.
I think mental health awareness is more important than ever these days.
I couldn't agree more. There's still so much stigma around it, but everyone has mental health, just like physical health.
Exactly. And it affects every part of our lives. Work, relationships, even how we view ourselves.
Right? I feel like people are finally starting to realize that mental health isn't something you can just ignore.
Yes, it's not about being strong enough to handle everything on your own. Sometimes you need support.
Absolutely. I think talking openly about it makes people feel less alone too.
And it can encourage others to seek help, which is so important.
I agree. There shouldn't be any shame in reaching out for support when you need it.
Exactly. When we normalize these conversations, it creates a safer environment for everyone.
And it's crucial for prevention too. Awareness can help catch issues early before they become more serious.
That's a good point. Mental health awareness really is a key part of overall well-being.
The joy of reading and its benefits.
I've been getting back into reading lately, and I forgot how much joy it brings.
Oh, same here. There's something so comforting about getting lost in a good book.
Exactly. It's like stepping into another world where you can escape and experience new perspectives.
And it's not just enjoyable. Reading has so many benefits too. It really improves focus and concentration.
Yes, I also feel like my mind is sharper and more creative when I read regularly.
That makes sense. And isn't it amazing how books can help build empathy? You get to see life through someone else's eyes.
Definitely. I think that's one of my favorite parts, understanding different perspectives.
Plus, reading is such a relaxing way to unwind after a long day.
Right? It's a nice break from screens and social media too, which can feel so overwhelming.
Exactly. There's a simplicity to reading that's so refreshing.
Couldn't agree more. Reading really is a gift that keeps giving both to our minds and our souls.
The role of laughter in promoting well-being.
I was reading the other day about how laughter can actually improve our well-being.
Oh, absolutely. They say laughter releases endorphins, right?
Exactly. It's like a natural mood booster. Even a quick laugh can lift your spirits.
I think it goes beyond just feeling good too.
It's like an instant way to feel closer to people.
Laughing with others makes you feel more connected, don't you think?
Yes, totally. Shared laughter really deepens bonds. It's like an instant way to feel closer to people.
I find that even just laughing at a funny show or meme can change my whole mood for the day.
Same here. It's like laughter reminds you not to take things too seriously.
And I've heard that it even has physical benefits, like reducing stress and improving immune function.
That's right. It's amazing that something so simple has so many effects on our bodies and minds.
We could all probably use more laughter in our lives.
Definitely. I think it's one of those little things that makes life feel lighter and more joyful.
The impact of technology on modern relationships.
Have you noticed how much technology has changed relationships these days?
Definitely. On one hand, it makes staying connected so much easier, especially with long-distance relationships.
Yeah, but at the same time, it can also create distance. Like, we're always on our phones even when we're with people.
True, it's like we're together physically, but mentally, we're somewhere else.
And social media complicates things too. Seeing perfect relationships online can set unrealistic expectations.
Right? It's easy to feel like you're missing out when you're constantly comparing yourself to those images.
I also think texting can sometimes lead to misunderstandings. Tone is so hard to convey through a screen.
Exactly. Face-to-face conversations are different. They feel more genuine.
I guess technology has its pros and cons in relationships. It's all about finding a balance.
Agreed. If we use it mindfully, it can enhance our connections rather than take away from them.
The significance of self-motivation.
I've been thinking a lot about how important self-motivation is in achieving anything meaningful.
Oh, absolutely. Without self-motivation, it's hard to keep going, especially when things get tough.
Exactly. I mean, external support is great, but at the end of the day, it has to come from within.
Right? Like nobody can push you the way you can push yourself if you're really committed.
And I feel like self-motivation builds resilience. The more we rely on our own drive, the more we learn to handle setbacks.
That's so true. Plus, it's incredibly empowering to know you're capable of pushing yourself forward.
Yes, it gives you a sense of control and independence, which is invaluable.
And self-motivation often leads to more meaningful success too. It means you're doing it for yourself, not just to impress others.
Absolutely. It's like you're driven by your own purpose and goals rather than external rewards.
I think that's the key to sustaining long-term progress too, doing things because they truly matter to you.
Definitely. When you're self-motivated, challenges feel more like opportunities to grow.
Couldn't agree more. Self-motivation really is the foundation of personal growth and lasting success.
The art of time management in a busy world.
I've been feeling so overwhelmed lately. It seems like there's never enough time for everything.
I know what you mean. Time management is definitely an art, especially with so much going on.
Do you have any tips? I feel like I could really use some structure.
One thing that helps me is prioritizing tasks. I focus on the most important things first and leave less crucial ones for later.
That's a good idea. I often try to do everything at once and end up exhausted.
Exactly. Trying to multitask can make things more stressful. I find it's better to give full attention to one thing at a time.
I should try that. Do you use any tools or apps to stay organized?
Yes, I use a planner app to keep track of deadlines and set reminders. It keeps me on track.
That sounds helpful. I think part of my problem is underestimating how long things will take.
Same here. It's all about being realistic with your time and not overloading yourself.
Thanks. These tips are great. I'll start with prioritizing and see how it goes.
Anytime. Time management takes practice, but it makes a big difference.
The art of effective communication in relationships.
I've been realizing just how important effective communication is in relationships.
Oh, totally. It's amazing how much smoother things go when both people are clear and honest with each other.
Exactly. I think one of the biggest challenges is learning to listen without just waiting for your turn to talk.
Yes, active listening makes such a difference. It helps you understand where the other person is coming from instead of just reacting.
And then there's expressing yourself clearly. Sometimes I struggle with finding the right words to explain how I feel.
I get that. But I've found that being open, even if it's not perfect, goes a long way.
True, vulnerability can be hard, but it makes conversations more genuine.
And it creates trust. When you're open, the other person feels safer to be open too.
Right, it's like building a foundation. Good communication can really deepen the relationship.
And it helps with avoiding misunderstandings. So many conflicts come from assuming things rather than talking them out.
Absolutely. It's an art for sure, but the more you practice, the better you get at it.
Exactly. I think it's one of the most valuable skills we can bring into any relationship.
Exploring the future of virtual reality.
Have you thought about how much virtual reality could change things in the future?
I did. It feels like VR is still in its early stages, but the potential is huge.
Yeah, it's amazing to imagine using VR for more than just gaming, like education, for instance.
Exactly. Imagine students being able to explore historical sites or conduct virtual science experiments from home.
That would be incredible. And I've read that VR could change remote work too, making virtual offices feel more realistic.
Definitely. Imagine meeting your colleagues in a virtual space that feels almost as immersive as being in the same room.
It could make remote work feel less isolating, that's for sure. And for healthcare, VR has huge potential as well.
True. Doctors could use VR for surgeries or to train on complex procedures without any risk to patients.
And mental health therapy could benefit too. VR could create safe spaces for people to confront fears or practice mindfulness.
I hadn't thought of that. VR could also help with travel. People might explore places they can't visit in person.
Right? It's like bringing the world to your living room. Imagine taking a virtual trip to the Great Wall of China.
That sounds amazing. But I wonder if it would make people feel less inclined to travel in real life.
Maybe, though I think VR could spark even more interest in seeing those places for real.
True, but there are still ethical questions, like privacy and how immersive VR might affect mental health.
Absolutely. It'll be interesting to see how VR develops, balancing all these opportunities with the potential risks.